Jannik Sinner, the newly crowned world number 1, is facing the most intense scrutiny of his career. A doping case appeal by Wada now looms over the tennis star, potentially jeopardizing his meteoric rise. How did we get here, and what does this mean for the future of men's tennis? In this video, we'll dive deep into the allegations, the science behind the appeal, and how this could shake up the sports landscape. Stay tuned as we uncover the key details behind Sinner's doping case and the potential consequences he now faces. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content on the drama, passion, and intensity of the tennis world. Sinner tested positive twice in March this year for a banned anabolic steroid called clostebol, which is derived from testosterone. In line with anti-doping processes throughout professional sport, Sinner provided a sample to anti-doping controllers. He first did so on March 10th during a tournament at Indian Wells. 8 days later, in an out-of-competition test prior to the Miami Open, the Italian also returned a positive test. Both Sinner's tests amounted to less than a billionth of a gram, in essence trace amounts. Sinner was informed of the positive test results and was initially provisionally suspended from tennis on April 4th. He successfully appealed that suspension a day later and also another short suspension that lasted between April 17th to 20th. Provisional suspensions can be overturned if an athlete demonstrates that a contaminated product was likely involved. After Sinner's 2 positive tests, the International Tennis Integrity Agency, ITIA, took the case to an independent tribunal which was heard in August. The ITIA handles anti-doping and corruption in tennis. Sinner successfully argued that the 2 positive tests had been as a result of contamination. The Italian and his legal team argued that his fitness trainer had purchased an over-the-counter spray called Trofodermin, widely used in Italy to heal cuts. Trofodermin contains clostebol. Sinner's physio Giacomo Naldi cut his finger in early March and used the spray for several days to treat the wound. He also continued his work with Sinner, massaging him and wrapping Sinner's feet in bandages. Sinner argued that he was inadvertently contaminated by Naldi, who had not been wearing gloves when working on him. He also argued that he had no idea his trainer had bought Trofodermin or that Naldi had contaminated him with IT. The independent hearing, 3 scientific experts said Sinner's explanation was plausible. The ITIA accepted Sinner's explanation that this was how he had returned 2 positive anti-doping tests with clostebol present. The independent tribunal agreed. Technically, Sinner was found to bear no fault or negligence for the failed tests. Because of that finding and ruling from an independent tribunal and the ITIA, Sinner was cleared of any wrongdoing and avoided a doping ban. Mixed. The ATP backed Sinner and his team with a statement in August that said they were encouraged by the independent tribunal/ITIA's investigations, although they did reiterate the importance for players and teams to take utmost care in the use of products or treatments. Integrity is paramount in our sport. Back in August, several players criticized the decision not to ban Sinner. Nick Kyrgios didn't hold back, saying, "Ridiculous, whether it was accidental or planned. You get tested twice with a banned substance. You should be gone for 2 years. Your performance was enhanced." Denis Shapovalov commented, "Different rules for different players," while legendary 7-time Grand Slam winner John McEnroe said it was surprising and shocking. Yes, it was appealed last week by Wada, the World Anti-Doping Agency. Technically, it has launched its appeal against the ruling of no fault or negligence. Wada believes that ruling is not correct under applicable rules. The ITIA, who originally investigated and passed on the investigation to an independent tribunal, acknowledges Wada's right to appeal this finding to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, under the Wada Code, which means Wada has a final right to appeal all anti-doping decisions. This is the big question to which there is no answer right now. Wada has stated their intention to appeal to CAS and have lodged an appeal with them on September 26th. However, CAS has a long list of cases to be heard. On their current listings that run up until a week before Christmas, no date has been set for a hearing involving Wada, Jannik Sinner, or the ITIA, so it could be that Sinner's appeal at CAS might not be heard until 2025. This is not definite, though, as cases involving high-profile athletes, as Sinner, the men's world #1 tennis player, falls into that bracket, can potentially be fast-tracked. As it stands, though, at the time of writing, no date for CAS to hear this appeal has been set in 2024. Sinner remains clear to play, and if no CAS hearing or ruling is held before the Australian Open in January 2025, the Italian under the rules would be free to play in Melbourne. Wada is suggesting it wants to see what it calls a period of ineligibility, most of us call it a ban, of between 1 and 2 years for Jannik Sinner. What it is not seeking, though, is a disqualification of any results beyond which has already happened. Sinner's placing at Indian Wells in March has already been removed, but regardless of the outcome of Wada's appeal to CAS, they are not asking for Sinner's U.S. Open victory to be overturned. His 2024 U.S. Open title remains his according to the nature of Wada's appeal. There is an acceptance among many that Sinner did not deliberately use clostebol to enhance his performance, and that the trace amounts of less than a billionth of a gram, accepted by a panel of 3 independent scientific experts, do not constitute cheating. However, Wada's appeal is based around enforcement of what they see as the rules for all sportsmen, sportswomen, their coaches, and entourages. Strict liability means that ultimately it is the athlete who is responsible for what goes into or onto their bodies, and that substances which are clearly highlighted as banned on the WADA prohibited list must not be used by any athlete. If they are, then a ban from sport